name is Thomas Zachary, and this is the latest, newest, most exclusive episode of the KAAMP. That is the Knoxville Area Artist Network and Platform podcast thing, otherwise known as the KAAMP. You can find us on the Instagrams and the Facebooks and blah, blah, blahs, all the places. It's all linked on my Instagram in the link tree. You know, the fancy shit. So today we are with a crafter, creator, artist extraordinaire out of Chattanooga. Would you please introduce yourself?
I am in Oddities, and is this going to be edited?
I do very little editing, but
Oh.
I mean, we can edit things. I just usually don't because I don't really.
Okay.
But
Well, can I redo
yeah,
my 1 week?
of course, yeah. And actually, my Bluetooth timed out for some reason, so you're you,
It start.
you're
It sounded good, and then it went away. I could hear you really well.
I was messing with my microphone because I had to turn it towards my phone. Anyway, yeah, we can start
Oh.
over. Good old, good old, good old doing things on Sunday mornings. That's what this is. Do I edit things? No, we just run it live. I tell you, from the past in the future. But yes, you are all hooked up now to. We're good. We're good. I promise.
We still can, bro. We still can. So I am Annie LaVoie out of Chattanooga, and I am the owner of Mouthy Oddities. I'm an oddities artist, and I established my business due to moving to Chattanooga and seeing that there was not much offered for explicit items within retail. And um, after establishing my explicit candles, I decided to venture into more of my art, which is bone carving. So I forage for bones. I have bones that are donated to me, and I carve them into various items for altars and wands, and dissection cuts of the skull for gross plates. And I use the eye of my trained scientist background to utilize the anatomy and physiology of the skulls, even down to the teeth, and turn them into earrings.
That sounds lovely. So this professional background, taxidermy, is that where you get all
Right.
this wonderful knowledge?
So I am a legal taxidermist.
Ooh.
Yes, my professional background stems from business development and corporate commercial construction.
Boo.
Boo.
Sounds really boring.
So it was life changing. I worked really hard and I climbed the corporate ladder, and it ended up being the worst decision for myself personally. I was making money to have less time with my children. I have two children, an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old, and they both have brands within Mouthy Oddities as well, and actively sell at events. But I had a life-altering experience too from COVID, and almost passed away from a pulmonary embolism, internal bleeding in both lungs, and lung death.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so it changed my life.
Imagine.
Time is of the essence.
Indeed.
Right?
So you said, screw the corporate ladder, I'm going to go carve bones and make cuss words.
Yes.
Hell
I
yes.
make, so the tagline for my business is making life beautiful even after death, because there is so much of me that literally did die when I was in the hospital. I was admitted to the hospital after the pulmonary embolism, and the amount of clots that were in my lungs was more of risk for causing heart attack and stroke. So I really had to find my means of happiness, and my happiness is active time with my children, and my art. So I did stay in the teaching world after corporate America until December of 2023. There was an incident that occurred at the therapy program that I was working, and I chose to resign. And then when I pulled the trigger on my explicit candles and started selling them out of my car,
Hell yeah, out of the
and it
car.
worked.
Because that's, I
It,
mean, you got to
it,
start somewhere. And lots of people make good money selling shit out of the trunk of their car.
oh yeah, it was a proof of concept. So I went through and did like my own like analysis of a highest return on investment, but also what is not actively on the market
Yeah.
and what can I make. So that's what I do. I make things that I've never seen before.
Ooh. Now, I've done 80, I think this is 85 episodes of the show, and you're the first
Mm,
person that has also said this because that's what I say. I make things I haven't seen before. So, woot woot on that.
right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
the things that pop into my head that I've never seen on a shelf or on the internet somewhere, I'm just like, well, I guess I'm the person that is charged with making that now. Damn. So for sure. Um, so let's talk about Knoxville for a minute, since that's sort of what this podcast is about. As a
Hmm.
creative person in and around the region, how does Knoxville treat you as a creative person?
I have never been happier in a city in comparison to Knoxville. I thought Chattanooga was artistic focused and supportive of creatives, but Knoxville has its whole other vibe of welcoming and acceptance of all. I deeply regret the mutual decision that my ex-husband and I made to move to Chattanooga, because Knoxville really is like the heart for creatives and open-minded opportunities and partnerships like with other artists and creators. I've never met or been in another city similar to Knoxville, and I've had to travel a lot for my previous life in corporate, and I love it. It's extremely supportive.
I think that's about the most glowing review I've ever gotten of Knoxville.
Boring?
No, glowing.
Oh,
Yes, that was a very, very
what?
boring. That was a boring, boring review of Knoxville and how awesome it is for creative people. Yes, thank you. That was very
What?
articulate.
I mean, even the events, like the events are dope. Like I am allowed to pick and choose which events that I go to, and it is niche target. It's people like me that have vampire claws, you know, um, open minded, supportive of all. But even the events themselves are truly unique,
Yeah, we have a
and
bunch
it
of colorful characters running these things, so each event definitely has its own flavor. I've been lucky enough to be in and out of most of them in the last couple of years, so yeah, we've got a good roster of varied niche events to run on for sure.
yeah, like I was at Pagan Pride Fest yesterday. Great, like top top favorite.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah, super chill. Like the weather is beautiful. The community even like more glowing. Like I wish I could just be there all the time, man. I do.
well, it is definitely a good spot. I enjoy living here, so I would recommend it.
Mhm. Mhm.
If I could admit my bias just ever so slightly, I would recommend living here for sure.
I can't hear you, man.
Oh goodness, really? I said I would.
Now I can.
Now you can. Oh,
Yeah.
this I don't. I normally don't record virtually. So like this part of my workflow is still a little iffy sometimes.
Yeah.
But
Well, thanks for doing it. I appreciate it.
well, it's okay. I mean, it's mobile, so I gotta practice being mobile sometimes. So
Yeah.
hook my phone up to it, the old mobile phone. But otherwise, I just throw all this stuff in a bag and go to somebody's studio or like sit in their driveway or on their porch. I've sat in people's driveways, on people's porches, and got all kinds of wonderful ASMR rain noises in some of these episodes and such. It's been
Ooh.
neat. I recorded in a bar one time, and a lady came up to us and asked if we were performing, and I don't remember exactly what I said. It's on tape. I didn't cut it out, but she thanked us so much for doing what we were doing. I was interviewing a fellow named Garrett. He does like 3D printed clay stuff, and it's
Hmm.
awesome. Like lampshades, statues, geometrical figurines. Anyway, really like his stuff. But we were talking, and she just like straight up comes right in the middle of this scenario. And it's just like, oh my goodness, what are y'all doing? And like, I'm sitting there with microphones and my boards on the table, and like, it's very clear that we're like talking into these microphones. But
Yeah.
she didn't care. So yeah, I
Aw.
totally left that in there because I thought it was ridiculous.
I, I mean, it adds character.
Oh, it was definitely she was definitely a character. She was the uncredited third person on the show. So, how
Even better.
did you look around the market and be like, hey, there's no like real fuck shit stuff here that I could make and enjoy, or was it something that you realized there was a niche in the market that's something you would make and you would make it anyway because that's what you want to make?
Correct. So I went through. I honestly went through a period of time where I had to have self talk and confidence in what I knew I was about to do. Like all I've done is to develop other people's businesses, right? And I did have a consultation business, um, and working in it was still within the construction vertical, and it was still like a lifeless type of position. And then I caught COVID, and everything kind of went downhill from there in terms of my health. So my goal is absolute strategy. I do intend to lean into intellectual property law for some of the items that I am making. Uh, you heard that right. IP. Uh huh. Educated.
R-
That's right.
right.
Also, copyright and trademark. That thing called my tagline. Um, but yeah, so I'm coming in from owning this business with past experience of what not to do, and really fine tuning what I want to do. And I have full blown ADHD. I work a million miles an hour. I did not know how creative I was until I had the opportunity to do it, because I have been married until a year ago, two children, and working the 9 to 5 corporate world. So um, it was not until I realized my skill set with hard tools that I knew I was onto something. So Dremel has recently sent me tools to continue carving, and
Very
that is
nice.
another goal. Yes, thank you. So that is another goal, is to really find other partners that um, will offer either paid partnership or support my art with items that I actually need to do them. Like I don't want stickers. I don't need that stuff. I'm a minimalist. I just want to be able to do my art, and the way that I do it is absolutely by my own imagination. And the carve bone is the texture of carving stone, but it's not a flat surface, right? So the horns, and even the skulls, even dissecting teeth from the skull, all of it takes a really steady hand, almost in comparison to. And I can say this because I'm a good shot, even though I've never shot an animal. I'll claim that fame, right? So I'm a good shot, but I also can hold a very steady hand and eye coordination to truly uh, cut bone properly. It's pretty tough, but I do enjoy it. Yes. So to answer your question, everything has always been stuff I've never seen before.
Just because you want to make it, not because it needs to be made.
Well, so both. So Chattanooga, I love this city, but there is a big difference between areas of Chattanooga and some other areas of Chattanooga where they still consider yoga to be a form of devil worship in some of the schools. Straight up, bro. Straight up, bro.
Yeah, people
Yeah,
that
me.
dumb still exist. You're right.
Yeah, and me and my vampire claws think that's great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So of course I'm gonna push the button not just for myself, but for other people that think it's funny to have like a candle on it that has like dumb bitch or like
Yeah.
I love to suck
I make,
dick.
I make,
You know?
yeah, I'm tired of the live, laugh, cutesy shit. Sometimes I just want really mean, rude stuff. So like I've made similar things, and that's honestly one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you, because you and I have a similar sense of humor when it comes to just like the
Yeah.
ridiculous stuff. And I had a good idea that we would, but now I know. So like as I reach for this lighter that I have lighter sleeved on my table here, that I'm like that is my handwriting that says fuck on a
What?
lighter sleeve. That's through. I wrote it out in an art. I have a big drawing pad right here. Like for all the people listening at home, the video tour of my studio. Like I have a 24-inch XP pen drawing tablet display. So
Oh wow.
I will take a like a felt tip marker, draw it out or write the word, whatever it is, and then I'll take it over to the computer, trace it out as a vector file, and then throw that in some 3D software and stick it on this lighter sleeve blank that I've made. And
That's so cool.
yeah, well, the fuck and the cunt are my handwriting, and then I asked my mom, who used to be like a lifelong English teacher, I asked her to write the word shit for me, and she wrote the word shit for me. And a couple of days later, I sent her a picture. And I was like, do you recognize this shit? And she said yes, and that was it. So
I love it.
there's a fun bit, like the way I can sort of make this a bit more human is to like literally throw your handwriting on it, and I'm really
Yeah.
entertained by that, even though it's a mildly intensive process.
I think it's great. Like my son, his vertical of my business are candles, and I gave I gave him both of my children budgets. I was like, all right, you can do whatever you want, buddy. So of course he picked a silicone mold of the middle finger,
Of course,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and I was like, that's great. Pick another one. And so then he found a second one. He's 11, so I'm letting him, be a little rebellious. And his second one is a little miniature frog holding up the middle finger.
I'm here for it.
Like
Yeah, it's great.
me too. And my daughter sells clip-on earrings, so that is really what started the vending markets, where
Yeah,
these clip-on earrings, dude. So we solved a problem. That's also what I do, is I seek to solve problems. And the clip-on earrings that she sells, my sister made the clay polymer, and I purchased the clay polymer from my sister, so my sister could start her own LLC.
yeah. There you
So
go.
I did a little correct. So I did a little investing there, and my daughter is now selling them, and she was on the news for selling them in Chattanooga at the Children's Entrepreneurs Market at 7.
Hey, yeah. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yeah, she's super proud of her. So that's my goal. If and when, if I am to pass away early, right? Because there is that likelihood. Anybody. I know that I am doing my best to teach my children a true skill set that is not taught in school.
Oh yeah,
Business,
100%.
and it's fun. We do it events that are fun. They were side by side with me at Punk Rock Flea Market. My daughter was doing my TikTok videos for me. My son was handing out flyers. Like, we're here for
Oh,
it.
you got the whole street team.
Yeah. And my boner station is up and going, dude. Yes, it is, bro.
That's what you call your booth, the boner station?
Yup.
Oh my
I
goodness.
do. And it is. It's a bunch of bones that I have cut. And again, all variations of bone, and designed like a painter's canvas, right? That actually is meant for the floor. So it's big.
Yeah.
And I just made that puppy into the boner station, and I'm proud of that thing. Yeah, any more puns, like, I'm here for it. It's so much free marketing associated with that, especially at Punk Rock Flea Market. All my T-shirts I make, I wore one yesterday that said "Lady Boner"
Appropriate.
on the front. Yeah. I believe in pushing the button with puns because why the fuck not? When you almost die, you really don't give a fuck.
So the
Like
sense of
say
humor took a turn that day too, huh?
it did. It so did. Yeah. Yeah. Like I'm very kind. I'm not here to harm anyone at all. I do believe in treating people gently and kind. However, I'm allowed to laugh, and what I make makes other people laugh too.
Absolutely.
It's fun. And then to anyone else that's interested, I utilize Uber and Lyft to market my business. And after the end of the lift, I hand them a business card. So now I've advertised my business, and the mileage is a write off.
Look at you.
100% ROI.
Look
Correct.
at you. Dang.
100%. That's right. I'm always out here straight Cadillac pimping. I'm always, yes, I am. I am like, I really am constantly thinking of fun ways to do business because if it's not fun, I'm not doing it. So I'm also utilizing my brain, which did suffer after COVID, right? I had a memory loss. A stutter developed. A lot of strange things occurred. But now I'm back to where I can go back into teaching. So I'll be utilizing free resources here in Chattanooga called the Chattery, where I can pitch an idea of what I want to teach, and I get paid for the amount of attendees that come.
Oh, that's cool.
And I use public resources, proving that artists that want to go into business can utilize things like the library or Chat GPT. Like it does have to be streamlined and focused, but I do believe that education is free and business is an ample opportunity if you're interested in it. So that's a part of my Periscope pitch for Chattanooga's art field that I'm a part of.
I think that's a solid footing to stand on for sure, especially since they don't teach these things in school.
At all, and they won't.
No, of course not.
Right.
Why would they teach you how to do your taxes?
Right. Or why it's hard for a reason. And I just don't believe in that. I believe in deconstructing it.
Fair. Very
That's
fair.
what I do. Yeah.
So, bone. Do you have a favorite kind of bone that you like to work with?
Dude, you know I do.
Is it
Yeah.
Is it cow bone?
Nope.
Ooh, now I'm surprised.
Yep. So my favorite part of any skull is the growth plate of the skull. And that is where two parts of the bone fuse together. But I call it nature's puzzle piece because you can actually strategically cut those growth plates so they allow free movement, but you can't pull them apart. And it's actual stunning. They're stunning pieces. That is what I sell the most of. And they are straight pieces of the skull.
Right.
And I am biased towards antlers, dude. Like I really enjoy the physical and mental focus it takes to carve an antler. It's pretty tough. And I get down to the grain of the antler so everybody can see even the health of the animal when that antler was shed or when the animal died and the antler remained part of the skull. So right now that's my favorite.
So you sound like you find a lot of like flow state or zen space in your workflow when you're carving these things. Is that the truth?
I found what? I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Zen workflow, like flow state when you're carving. You get that?
Yes. Do you want to know what I do?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So my workspace, it has to be outside because cutting bone is carcinogenic.
Yeah.
So I'm outside. I put on my headphones and I listen to Soft White Underbelly on YouTube. I listen to those stories, right? So as I'm cutting something that's dead and something that's considered waste, because that's also a focus of my business is turning things that people consider to be waste or dead items that are throwaway into beautiful pieces of art. Everything I use is waste. And I will listen to stories of people that are on Skid Row or people that are going through their own aspects of life. And even throughout that interview, you hear peaks of their own story and their own success, their own triumphs. And I celebrate that. I believe every individual has the right to find happiness. And I truly focus on that. And yes, to answer your question, there is a sense of calm that is required in order to utilize the saws, various saws that I use. And it's joyful. It's so fun to like sit outside, listen to my favorite podcast, and like make things that I've never seen before, and then hustle in my car, right? And then bring items in my car, like the candles, and bring those back to fall.
Yeah.
And I sell them direct because I did have items in retailers, bro. That's not the route I'm going. For me, for the items I have, I can sell them quicker than the internet or a retail, and it's just by people being able to see them. Right. I believe everybody has the opportunity to see what I make, and not everybody has a computer. Not everybody has gas money to go to a retailer, but everybody can buy a $10 candle. You know what I mean? If they choose to, right. If it brings them joy in that moment, because they are hilarious. Like, who doesn't want a candle that says, like, come on it?
I mean, I'd light it. I'd light it. I'd light either of them. It'd be fine.
White?
Oh, my goodness. So the presentation's on point as well.
Killer, dude.
So, yeah, I also, like, there's an inherent, like, it depends on who it is in your booth, but it's either there's an inherent awkwardness or an inherent comfort when you know that person's sense of humor is either in line or not in line with this whole scenario that you got going on. Because
right.
it with any like cuss word items, you figure out how to make the conversation around it fun, because it just being inherently like how you're talking about the object and what the object is in the context of the statement is ridiculous and funny. Like, you make things that say fuck and be like, here, I have a fuck for you to give. Like, there's so many ways to just like play with the idea of these items, and it makes the language about them so much fun. It's one of the reasons I also enjoy making these silly, ludicrous, like a bit crass things.
Yeah, like if it doesn't make me laugh, I'm not doing it, bro.
No, somebody asked me to make a fridge magnet that was it said flying fuck, and the two words were separate, so you know it was like he could just stick it on his fridge wherever he want. But I was like, I can't make a flying fucking magnet today, you know, like there are things I have to do today, and maybe I can make this flying fucking magnet tomorrow, you know. So like, it was the whole thing, and it's the first and only like big fridge magnet I've ever designed. But it glows in the dark, and it's all handwritten, like it's my cursive script. So like, somebody has my own very, very personal handwritten flying fuck on their fridge right now, and this is the kind of ridiculous things that people that make stuff like this get to enjoy that most other crafters don't, I think.
If we don't make it, who will?
Someone more boring, maybe. That's the best answer I got.
I'm gonna make candles now with like their own scent, and it's gonna be hilarious.
Run it.
Make funny. I'm gonna do, you know, just sit down and like think it or not think, right? Because you can overthink business, right?
Yeah, you can definitely overthink business, and you can overcook a joke. So there's a line there. There is a line there.
So yeah, so I and my kids will throw up ideas, right?
Oh
like
yeah, absolutely.
They are hilarious, and if you come to some of the shows that I'm at, they will be there. You know, Like they understand, and that's been my goal this whole time, is that business can be fun
Yeah, for sure.
and funny at the same time.
Yeah, it's always entertaining when you see somebody pick something up off the table and they go, "Oh," and they'll either be like, "Yeah," or put it down. But in that moment,
Yeah.
you see it cross their brain that it's just like, "This is this. I'm
Yes.
looking at this. This is a thing. I could buy this. I could." And
Right.
then they have to figure it out on their own if they think it's like truly funny enough. And that mental
Right.
gymnastic is hilarious to watch because it's just like right here on their face the entire time. It's great.
And the shock value factor. That's my fave. Like, that's really what my business is all shock value.
Okay, so what item at your booth, the boner station, is that what you said? What item at the boner
Mm-hmm.
station makes people clutch their pearls the most?
I would say shock out of the artistry is the wand.
Fair.
People will see that because I cut them, or I carve them like double spirals and just kind of experimenting, and people are shocked that it's a piece of antler.
Yeah.
And for me, that's like, man, that's so cool. Also, it's not quite shocking, but it's not something that I have seen is a snakeskin covered bone. Those have sold the most. I have to make more of them. But it's a constant guessing game, and you won't know unless you try.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, and less is more, right? Like, I threw an emerald on top of one of the wands, and I was like, well, may work. No, it's not. I mean, not at the existing shows, but just the straight bone is beautiful alone.
Yeah.
That the stone takes away from it.
That makes sense.
So that and teeth. People love teeth, dude.
Yeah, they do. They really do.
I really do, yeah. And I have pieces of the teeth with the jaw
Yeah.
embedded, and I like carve it so it's really soft to the touch, and other earrings and discs from the vertebrae, which some, dependent on the area of the vertebrae, the disc is the natural shape of a heart.
Ah,
so
that's neat.
Yeah, it is neat. Like, it really is deep, like taking away the concept of what was and looking at what it is now. And that itself is an artistry. And my focus is making life beautiful even after death. Like, and I've never been happier.
So, do you have a body of work right now that you're really trying to pursue, or are you just cruising through all the ideas as fast as you can?
Solid question. So I do have a lengthy amount of time that I've spent at expos and shows in my world of working in construction. So I know how to slate for what is coming, but I am running out of product, and so I am having to create more.
Yeah.
But dude, it's like, you can't fail with bone, right? Like, no matter what, it's going to be dope. So now I'm messing with different dye techniques. Yeah. Got this dope, like, hog skull that I was using to actually practice my Dremel cuts with the saw. You have to use a diamond bit saw, right? So, and you have to have that steady hand. And I have been practicing carving that. And now I have submerged all of it in a specific color dye, and will be doing dissection cuts of that skull. And those items will be presented with other variants added to it at the dark market next month. So I am slating, yes.
Debut stuff.
Now I have an occult market. So it really is a gift to be able to slate or prepare or know your market well enough
to
know what will work and what won't. I also do commission pieces. So right now I have two business owners in Chattanooga that want custom lettering candles, which which I may do today. But that's fun too because I can make things that are pretty. I just don't do it often. I prefer death and bloody stuff.
Yeah, right. Like that's your style, but you'll make pretty things when the people ask you real nice.
Yeah, well, I'll help a homie out. You know what I mean?
It's hard to tell
They'll,
some folks no.
yeah, and it is. It's also having that business construct of understanding like someone else's brand and the colors associated with someone else's brand. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I do commission pieces with the bones and the candles.
So since we've touched on it a little bit, can you tell me if there is an example of a stereotypical good creative day?
A good creative day.
Yeah, what does that look like? What's the routine, if there is one?
Man, there's no routine. Okay. You know, so I do go through the cleansing process of the bones. There is a lot of time associated with what I do, and it is using chemicals. Um, each day is different due to the chemical, whatever chemical I'm using, and that would include dye too,
Yeah.
which is the chemical on its own. I do make a point to do Uber and Lyft throughout the day. I've discovered the strategy to that as well. So there's bonus hours that you can go and target. That's the time that I drive Uber and Lyft while my children are in school.
Yeah.
And then when they come home, we'll do homework, do dinner, and then I will try to spend some time carving. Now, I have my children 50-50 custody with my ex-husband. So on the weeks I don't have them, there's less interruption of my ability to carve. And that's really when I can do a deep dive and spend more than a couple hours, like utilizing the Dremel to do various cuts. And I even save like the bone dust. I collect that and use that in my art too. I use every aspect of the skull, dude.
So
buttons. I'm making.
So when you're carving outside in the sun.
Yes.
So no, you don't want to deal with the loud vacuum table. You'd just rather be outside.
Yeah. So I do have like a membership at the Makerspace in Chattanooga.
Yeah.
And I told Periscope when I was discussing it, getting into the program and whatnot. I said, well, I'm hitting the problems that I am in a growth period, right? But I need to be able to use a bandsaw. And when you cut bone, don't know if you know this or not, but it smells like fucking death on its own, bro.
Absolutely, it does. That shit gets hot, and it just turns into the worst stink you've ever smelt in your life.
Yes. So this is an aspect of my life. I take about 5 showers a day, right? But when I'm at the Makerspace, they don't have proper ventilation.
Yeah.
So I've been told to, think about everybody else in the building that's having to breathe in that dead shit, and you kind of kindly let yourself exit. So I have hit my own like trials and tribulations, and that would be the biggest one, and that's not by any means a hard stop. I just came home and finished what I needed to do. But I do use the library. They have a laser, so I was laser etching curse words onto bone, and for whatever reason I stopped wanting to do that. But their lasers were down, so I was like, well, I can't do that. But each day, honestly, the only routine is doing Lyft or Uber.
Yeah.
And passing out my business cards to gain a local brand awareness. my business has only been live, and I launched it strategically with the ice storm that we had in January. I knew everyone was stuck inside. They could not go anywhere. Everybody was on social media,
Yep.
and that's when I launched my candles one by one.
Nice. So you you took everybody's captive attention.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. And my candles have been all around the United States. I did have to change the brand. It was Whoremouth Candles.
Some folks didn't really jive with that, huh?
Right. Like people, I think it's hilarious, and I'm not going to change the name of the candles. I changed or of that brand, but the overall umbrella company I had to change to Mouthy Oddities. But I couldn't get into shows, bro.
Really?
They would be like, nah, that's too risque for old Chattanooga. It's like, what the fuck? Fine. So I just changed my name.
Lame. Lame as hell.
The name and still brought those motherfucking candles.
Right, yeah, of course, because you can't let the come and squirt candles not be sold in the public. Shit far.
I know. Hey, but honestly, I'm very thankful. Like Chattanooga as a whole has also been very supportive and kind. People are very kind. But Knoxville, I was on the phone with a friend of mine that lives in Atlanta last night, and I was telling him like Knoxville is. I could see a future self living there. I mean, it is the best. It is for creatives. It's for everyone that's willing to honestly not judge, which may sound super fucking simple, right?
Oh yeah, of course it sounds simple. That's why it's very romantic. Sounds very simple.
But I mean, it's beautiful. I am very thankful to be a part of the Knoxville group. I love everybody. There's a lot of like co-marketing, co-networking that we do. I will be unboxing some of my products with other vendors and vice versa. So I mean, it's great. Like it's amazing to be amongst not just the city, but other creatives that are also as hungry to grow.
Yeah.
And not afraid to. And doing so very strategically at the same time. Every individual I've met is a very polished entrepreneur and artist. I mean, it's just the best. Like I think I'm up there next weekend, dude.
Well, it's good that you're staying busy then.
Yeah. So I have an event in Knoxville at least once a month. This month, 3 events in Knoxville, 1 event in Chattanooga.
All right. Well, since I was a big dummy and forgot to ask you where folks can find you on the internet earlier, right now would be a really good time to do that.
Sure. So my Instagram handle is Mouthy Oddities, MOUTHY _ Oddities, ODDITIES. And I'm on Facebook. TikTok has asked me to have a little TikTok shop, and I'm not there, dude. But I'm on TikTok too. But I do have my link tree available on all of the platforms too, and on that link tree, it does have my Etsy, which is not going to be the platform that I will launch for fall items, but that will be changing. So, long-winded way of saying Instagram is honestly the quickest way to get a hold of me.
Boom, there we go. If you want to buy something, hit her up on Instagram. That solves the question. But you got a website in the works?
Just the link tree, dude. I'm trying to do it at this point strategically through Linktree. It will eventually be Square.
Okay.
Maybe that could be like a round 2 interview. You know what I mean?
I'm not going to stop you. You would be welcome back
That would
anytime.
be fun. That would be fun.
So yeah.
Yeah. Maybe.
We can make that happen for sure.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. So what's like the most frustrating aspect of your workflow right now?
Not having enough manpower to help me. It is all me.
Yeah.
Every aspect is all me. I'm a mother. I also have to make an active income. I really need help at shows. Um, Especially at targeted shows that are big, like for example, Punk Rock Flea Market in Knoxville.
Yep. Big show.
There is a transaction on one of my sites used for purchasing where every 3 minutes there was a purchase. Now that's amazing. That's great, but it's a long show. You need to use the restroom. You've got to eat. You know, I have both my children. My foot soldiers are with me. Even my dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
you have all the responsibility. You have all the responsibility that day.
But that's just like my homie with Macabre Moss. Like, she's an amazing vendor. She came up in Knoxville and she entered my booth and said, like, go to the restroom, go grab water. And she held me down. It's just that act of kindness.
Yeah. So she kicked your butt out of your own boner station booth and said, go be a human for a minute. Get out of here. What a good friend.
She's lovely.
What a good friend. Blessed to have those.
It is, yeah.
even if they're a little crass and tell you to go get the shit done, get out of here. That's good. That's good. So, the lack of manpower to do all the things, is that would more hours in the day be a solution to that?
Yeah. Yeah. It would. And I'm also doing my business with a very small investment amount. Very small. Again, I'm a mother, so my focus is producing income for my children to live, which they are. However, for this, I'm really vested in my business. It is my money that I have put into it, and it's a lot. It's a lot of hours. This is where I'm thankful for my work ethic within corporate. I am accustomed to working a lot. I'm accustomed to working on the road and in airports and driving. So I've pretty much got this on lock. But it would be nice if there were, a homie that would help out. And I think I may have found one, bro. Like, I think I found a friend that's willing to help me at upcoming Knoxville shows. So manpower is a hard one. And then also, like, being kicked out of the makerspace here, like, that kind of cut out production time with the bandsaw. So I have to use certain saws for certain parts of the skulls. So.
Right.
But I figured both out. Dremel held me down. Dremel sent me stuff, so I don't even have to go to the makerspace, dude.
Well, that's awfully sweet of them. And it's good to have good tools. It makes the job way easier.
Yeah. And I reached out to them. That they were very kind. I reached out to them and I started tagging them. I targeted them as, again, what can I do with my business to make it more sustainable?
Yeah.
Sustainable. And it's proven to work.
Yeah, those partnerships come in clutch. For sure. So, are there any moonshot ideas you're trying to work on for your art or for the business or both?
That's a good question.
It usually makes people sit back in the chair. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good question. I think a beautiful goal for me, and it's real. It's to be a part of the traveling expos for Oddities.
Yeah.
So the Oddities and Curiosities Expo is really what confirmed what I was doing was going to work. There is a target. It's a niche market. and that's my goal is to get into the Curiosities and Oddities Traveling Expo. After that, I do anticipate to pitch for a brick and mortar for European taxidermy mounts and the processing associated for domesticated animals that have passed away.
Yeah.
From people that are into that niche. So that's my game plan. My business plan for Oddities and Curiosities Expo was initially supposed to be a 3-year business plan, but I've fast forwarded it into like 6 months. Yeah.
So the idea worked.
The idea worked. It was a proven proof of concept.
Excellent.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I listen to my customers. When my customers speak, I listen very carefully because I am here to make what they want to see as well. So
yeah,
that's my goal, and that have my children a part of that is also a goal. I want my kids to truly understand that they can do a business, and even an oddity business.
Yeah, even something as niche as.
Yeah, niches are the best markets, man.
All right, so we're creeping up on the hour, and I've got 2 more questions for you.
Okay.
The first one is, where's the line? The line between something being like just silly, stupid, cussy enough to like too much. Is there a line?
Good. There is. Good question. Great question. One of the reasons I got out of candles, bro, was because dudes would be like, "Oh, she's gonna make a candle that says like come on it. She'll deliver it to me." Yeah, that was the line. That's when I was like, okay, no, we're going to shipping. So I stopped. Yeah, that was the line. I have had some interesting conversations, which will always remain confidential because nobody else wants to get ear fucked like I've had to get ear fucked. But I when I said I was doing commissioned candles and like we can put whatever you want on it, that was the line.
Yeah.
So I have learned, yes. So, I have learned to maintain control, and honestly, the candles that are on my social media, the majority of them were the marketing slogan of them were created by women as well. So that's something that a lot of other people don't know is like Cum Guzzler. That was one of my candles that went viral, and that little puppy was created by a woman, so it's there is a fine line of respect.
Yeah. Well, I was looking more for an answer about the jokiness, but I feel as if that's a far more appropriate answer about it, and like loving and respectful answer about the real world circumstances of these potentially funny and ridiculous things. So that was way more of that answer was way more serious than the spirit of the question, but I do appreciate that.
Corporate on you?
No. No, you were just like, this is the way this shit happens in real life, and that's where the fucking line is. So that's a good answer, and I appreciate the transparency on that.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. And the last question usually is, if you were to suggest me people to sit in your seat, speak into this microphone, who would they be? And if I put you on the spot, you can shoot me a text or email me or write me a message, whatever, later with your suggestions, because sometimes I do end up putting people really on the spot with that question.
Yeah, there are so many phenomenal artists that I have come across, and they're not all physical art. It's even culinary.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, Herb and Honey are my homies. I love them. And I would recommend them due to she's a chef, right?
Yeah.
And but she also started her business the same time as me, and she's also the real deal.
Excellent.
And her business strategy is cool as fuck. She's dope. Legit. I would recommend her, and then I will definitely shoot you a text with additional people. Can I recommend Chattanooga people?
Yeah, absolutely. This. Okay, so I know I said Knoxville, but this is my show, so I'll do what the fuck I want. I've had people from Nashville and Atlanta, whatever, Asheville. Like it's local and regional, so it's my show. I do whatever.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Well, I'm plugging Art-Filled Periscope. I am with the dopest mural artists in Chattanooga every Tuesday.
Nice.
Yeah, I've definitely got plugs, dude. People that like go and work at Volkswagen throughout the day, and then they come home and they paint until 3 a.m. in the morning for a mural for the city to see. I mean, what I do is a deconstruction of physical items and turning that into artwork, right? To me, the culinary arts, the artistry associated with the painting, yeah, I got plugs on plugs on plugs, dude.
All right. Well,
I met the best of the best.
Well, I'm here for it, and I'll bug them and get them on the show maybe. So, shoot me the text or the message, and we can make it happen. If you will tell people one more time, since this is the end of the program, where to find you on the internet, I will do the same, and then we can fuck off into this good day.
Great. Yeah, so find me on Mouthy Oddities. I make life beautiful even after death, and I'm also mouthy as fuck. And my candles represent that too. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. That's where you can find me.
Excellent. Annie, thank you very much for representing yourself and Mouthy Oddities on the KAAMP. This has been the latest episode of the KAAMP. That is the Knoxville Area Artist Network and Platform podcast, whatever it is this week thing. And if you want to support the podcast, you can listen to it like you are right now, I hope. You can, like share it with your friends. You can like annoy that boss, the ex-boss you don't like, send them a link. You can also like put this on in the car when your car's full of people and force them to listen to it until somebody asks you what the fuck we're listening to, and then you tell them. So it all works out. It all works out. So thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing and rating and doing all the good stuff. You can buy my artwork at ttw_artworks on Instagram, or you can visit the newly creative Etsy shop that I have, Red Zachary Creative. That is the catch-all for my 3D printed, hand-painted, podcasty things. It's the catch-all storefront on the internet for everything creative that I do. So thank you very much, and I will talk to y'all next time.